The night that never ends, the birth of a nightmare. The worst way to die is also the most common way to die. In the late 1970s, young men who had escaped war and genocide in Southeast Asia began dying quietly in their sleep. They were healthy, strong, and barely into adulthood. One moment breathing, the next gone. Their families reported hearing screams in the night, thrashing, terror. Yet autopsies revealed nothing. No wounds, no toxins, just hearts that stopped for no reason. Doctors called it sudden unexpected nocturnal death syndrome. But for the refugees, this wasn't a medical mystery. It was the birth of a nightmare. On Elm Street, the ghosts of Cambodia. In Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge turned the country into a graveyard. Between 1975 and 1979, nearly 2 million people were worked, starved, or executed in the name of purity. Cities were emptied overnight. Families disappeared into labor camps that swallowed them whole. When the regime finally collapsed, survivors stumbled out of the jungle, hollow-eyed and half-ghost. Many fled to Thai border camps, crowded, stifling places where nightmares never stopped. From there, thousands were resettled in America, carrying the weight of genocide in their bones. And soon, something strange began happening in those new homes. Young men who had survived everything, war, famine, prison, started dying quietly in their sleep. The making of a monster. News of the deaths spread through refugee communities and then into American headlines. Reporters called it a mystery. Doctors called it coincidence, but the pattern was too precise to ignore. Young men, always at night, always in their sleep. When filmmaker Wes Craven read about it, he saw something deeper. The idea that a nightmare could kill. From that seed came a monster. A burned man in a tattered hat stalking dreamers in the dark. Children on screen sang a warning, counting down to their own doom. What few realized was that Freddy Krueger wasn't born in fiction. He was born from real terror, drawn from headlines about men who never woke up, the things that wait in the dark. Every culture has a name for the thing that waits in the dark. The Hmong call it the Dabtsog, a spirit that sits on your chest and crushes the breath from your lungs. In the Philippines, it's the Bangungot. In Japan, the Kanashibari. In the West, the Old Hag. Different names, same terror. You wake but can't move, your chest locked, air slipping away. A presence pressing close enough to whisper. Doctors call it sleep paralysis. The old world called it possession. For the refugees, it wasn't metaphor. They had survived monsters in daylight only to meet another one in their dreams. The fault in the blood. When the bodies reached the morgue, science took its turn at the mystery. The hearts looked clean, the lungs untouched. No poison, no infection. Yet monitors caught a glimpse of the moment before death. An electrical storm inside the chest. The heart shaking itself apart. Years later, doctors would find the pattern again in something called Brugada syndrome. A genetic fault that strikes without warning, often during sleep. The same heartbeat that kept you alive could betray you the instant you closed your eyes. It wasn't the spirit world claiming them, but something hidden in their own blood, an ancient defect awakened by terror. The night that never ends. Maybe it was never just the body or the spirit. Maybe fear itself finished what the heart began. These men had lived through war, famine, exile, and still, their final battle came in sleep. The mind can heal, but it can also haunt. replaying the past until it burns through flesh. Doctors blame genetics, the Hmong blame spirits, but both agreed on one truth. Something inside them refused to rest. And that's the real nightmare. Not Freddy's claws or Hollywood shadows, but the silence that follows when a survivor finally closes his eyes, believing he's safe at last. Because for some, the night doesn't end. It just changes form.